Welcome to Panther News 22. I'm Miles Vollmer.
And I'm Lane Normand. The date is January 24th, and we have an exciting show ahead.
But first, let's kick off this show with some of this week's local news.
A reminder that pre-sale for senior prom tickets ends February 1st. Pre-sale offers tickets at $85, the regular price being $95. So get your tickets now before the deal is gone.
In other news, there is a junior parent college planning presentation February 13th from 5 to 6 p.m. in the BHS auditorium. Counselors will be presenting and reviewing post-secondary and college planning topics to junior families. If this is of interest to any junior students, be sure to attend.
On today's episode, we'll take an exciting look at this year's winter track team, as well as an interesting preview at the local politics happening here in Beverly. We'll also see what's in store with the Robotics Club, see the influence of cell phones on our youth, and get an insightful preview at young musicians at BHS.
And later, we'll get a new perspective on popular energy drinks, insight on the New Year's resolution of BHS students, and an interesting table talk on video games. Then a check with Beverly's Model UN group, a preview on how students prepare for college, and finally a very exciting package on how our show is made.
So stay tuned. Every year, the BHS track team has proven their ability to not only achieve personal records, but to surpass all competition completely. This year, they have a big reputation to uphold, so we pass it to Lucas to see what they're doing to train and how they've managed to maintain their continual success.
Photography right now. All right, so Jackson, do you think your team's successful?
We are incredibly successful. EC for the first time in 27 years. Super stoked about that. We've got some awesome sprinters coming in. Sure was. We got some awesome sprinters coming in from the football team who was also very successful, and we're running great so far.
All right, so what do you attribute most of the success to? Like preseason training, just natural talent?
We definitely have a lot of talent on the team, but can't improve without a lot of training too. So a lot of training, some really strong guys overall, great coaching, lots of hard work.
All right. Do you think you're gonna do well in the future?
Yeah, I think we definitely have a really strong grade right now, a senior grade. So it might fall off a little bit after us, but we'll definitely still have good depth throughout the rest of the team, different grades.
All right, thanks for your time.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
It's no surprise that cell phones have completely altered our way of life. With more on the effect of cell phones, here's Owen.
The new year is here, and so are new problems to be had in the future. One of the main concerns of teachers and students alike these past few years has to do with mental illness and addiction. When asked what comes to mind first when addiction passes through your ears, your response would most likely be related to drug abuse. But today I'm diving into an addiction which countless teens are guilty of: their phones. I was interested to hear the perspective of some of my peers. So when I asked if they felt as though they were addicted to their cell phones, this is how they responded.
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Now, is this a problem we should necessarily be concerned about in school? Well, let's hear it from the perspective of a teacher.
Okay. How do I feel about cell phones? As you notice, based on all my signs all over my room, I don't think cell phones should be allowed in school. Cell phones are a distraction to students' learning, and they also cause a lot of anxiety based on the fact that students need to be constantly in touch with somebody or something. And I think cell phones have taken over our students' life, but not just students, also some adults. I don't think it's beneficial to society to be hooked up to a little machine that dictates what you're supposed to be doing. But in school, I definitely think we need something to block them so we can focus on learning and not responding to whoever else is texting, because I realize students are continuously talking to someone somewhere. And they're not doctors, therefore it's not that they're brain surgeon, they have to be called in an emergency.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
Yeah, so do you think that it's a hindrance to their learning ability in class?
Absolutely. Absolutely. No doubt in my mind. I've been saying this since the cell phones were invented.
I also had the opportunity to ask some of my peers if whether they thought that their phones has become a hindrance in class and has affected their learning in any way.
Yes. No. Of course.
Yes. I guess sometimes.
I control.
Not at all.
Occasionally.
Yes.
But is this to blame completely on the students' behalf? A study was shown on smartphone addiction statistics by Slick Text that 89% of parents take responsibility for their child's cell phone usage. Is this a concern for the future generations becoming far too reliant on their phones, possibly creating a new fear limiting a student's learning potential? Only time will tell.
Local elections recently wrapped up, and all the new and re-elected candidates are getting to work. Last week, Paris took to the center of it all to document how high schoolers can be more involved with local politics.
All right, so my first question is, how did you get into politics?
So I was a school teacher. I was teaching middle school English and social studies in Ipswich, and I started getting concerned with environmental issues, clean air, clean water, agriculture, just resources, resource depletion, overfishing of fishing stocks, particularly on the East Coast. We're all very mindful of that. But this was back in the mid to late 1980s. So a lot of people weren't paying attention to the environment. One of the other teachers at the middle school and I started an environmental club, and the kids did a lot of great things with it over about 4 years' time. Eventually, they did a statistical analysis for their math class on waste generated in the cafeteria. They realized we were throwing about 700 juice cans in the trash every year. They didn't like that. They wanted to recycle. But this was really back before curbside recycling started. So we ended up calling the juice company and saying, could you take the empties back when you fill the machine? They refused and said if the state legislature wanted us to recycle, they'd tell us to do so. So my sixth grade students said, what's a state legislature? I said, let's go find out. So we went to the State House. And before you know it, we had filed a bill to increase recycling. Kids spent a lot of time advocating for that bill for about a year and a half. It didn't go anywhere, at which point I kind of banged the table, more figuratively than literally, and I said, nobody's listening, I'm running. So I ran for state representative here in Beverly, our hometown, and I won. And I left teaching and went into politics.
Wow. And you said that you got your students involved with that too. Do you think high schoolers should be involved in local politics, even if they can't vote?
So the students that we had, we got them involved because they really wanted to in raising money to buy rainforest, right? In leaf raking and composting, in tree and shrubbery planting, things that were like real hands-on that could make a direct impact environmentally. The political advocacy came a couple of years later, kind of by accident, right? And I think it's really important that young people come to their own ideas and their own beliefs about environmental issues. And so as a teacher, it was really important to stay back and let them sort it. But yes, they eventually decided they wanted to be involved in the process. They learned a lot from it, which was great, even though they didn't in that moment in time get the outcome they wanted. So they all learned a lot, and that was a great thing. So yes, these were younger students than high school.
And what would you say to anyone my age or even older who actually wants to run for office in the future?
Well, never having thought I would run for office, and now running for office a lot. I was 10 years Beverly State Representative. I actually ran for state treasurer 18 years ago now. I was on the city council after that, now I've been mayor for 7 years. There are many ways to be involved. Running for office and getting elected is one. And absolutely, if you think you might have an interest in running, learn more about it. Because you may one day, be the right person to hold an office and participate and contribute in that way.
For me, the role of the city council, in terms of the council as a whole, is to be a check and balance to the executive branch, which is the mayor. And also, as a ward councilor, I'm the Ward 3 councilor, which is really a downtown ward that stretches out to Henry's Market, is to represent the people who live in the ward, as well as the businesses and their interests. So those are the things that I believe that are important as a city councilor moving forward.
And how do you think high schoolers like me can get involved in local politics, and especially here in Beverly?
It's that getting involved in politics often starts early. But I learned to love politics when I took my son when he was 6 or 7 years old to go hear Bill Clinton. Government and democracy is we're so lucky to live in this country and to be able to choose our leaders and to choose what's important to us. And I think we learn that at a very early age. And I think that especially for people of your generation, it's critical. Because we live in a time, I believe, right now, where there's a lot of fear. There's fear about the environment. There's fear involved with hate. And there's no real clear, positive path moving forward. So I believe very strongly that every single citizen, every single person who lives in our community ought to understand what's going on and especially pick issues that are important to them, be it education or the environment or public safety or immigration, whatever, and find out about it and then act.
And on that topic, what would you say to high schoolers who are getting into politics and are thinking about one day running for an office?
I would say get involved in a campaign, whether it be with a candidate. This year is amazing. We're going to have, a presidential race, and we have a big Senate race, or a local race, or if there's an issue that's really important to you, and working with a advocacy group on an issue that you love. I think the key is to find passion, to work on what you're passionate about. And then, it's more fun. You meet people. I've met so many people. I've met thousands of people this summer, knocked on 2,000 doors. Because what was important to me was community. I wanted people to feel like they had someone that represented them. So even now, and I don't say, well, did they vote for me? No, that doesn't matter to me. Did they believe what I believe? That doesn't matter to me. It's my job to listen to them and represent them and help them where I can. So I'm dealing with issues regarding homelessness and housing and public safety and community, trying to bring people together and make them feel like their government works for them every day. So I know how much more difficult it will be for you to launch your life than it was for me. And that's important to me. And so if you don't support people and ideas that empower you, then you can't get your way. And that's the way democracy works. It's up to you.
An important club to many students at BHS is the Robotics Club. Here's how the members of robotics use their talent to create and experiment with different technologies.
What is the robotics team?
So the robotics team is basically where we get a challenge at the start of the year, which is usually like first or second Saturday in January, and then we have to build a robot that completes this challenge in about 6 weeks. And then we have 2 competitions with other schools from around the area, and that will, whoever wins the competition gets to move on to states and then nationals, stuff like internationals, whatever. And, you know, as not being a hugely funded team, our goal is just to try to win one of our competitions.
Tell us about your experiences in the competitions.
Competitions are incredible. They're all weekend long. We go on Friday, we set up our pit, which is a 10 feet by 10 foot station. We bring our tools in there, bring in the robot, and then do a little bit of practicing. Then all day Saturday, it's competitions. There are about 100 competitions at each, 100 matches at each competition.
It's a big number.
Yeah, so a lot of matches. We participate in 20 of them, about. And it's just tons of fun. It's a full basketball field house full, people in the stands cheering, pretty crazy. There's some characters there, certainly.
Oh, really?
It's super competitive. There are teams ranging from their very first year, learning everything, to teams with tons and tons of money that are just crazy robots.
But they also help each other. Like, if you need something, they'll give it to you. Like, they're really also supportive. They're super competitive, but they're also supportive. It's a great.
Sportsmen.
Yeah. And then on Sunday, we have our tournament matches based on our seed from Saturday. Yeah. And then it works like a normal bracketed tournament, and then there's one winner for the competition.
And last year we did the best that the Beverly High School team has ever done. We got
really?
fifth, right?
Fifth seed, yeah.
Well, I heard about it from some friends, and I joined, and I talked to the teacher of the robotics club, Mr. Pellegrino, and Mr. Riley.
Both of them?
Yeah. So I came after school one day, and I just came to check it out. I really liked it. I liked the environment. The people in the club are great, and
That's good to hear.
I really like building stuff, so I took an interest to it.
Cool. What can you tell us about your experience in the competitions?
The competitions, it's very intense, actually.
Really?
So we go to another school, and we do play some practice matches just to get a feel for the arena, and then we play some qualifying matches. The matches are very interesting. It's 5 people per team,
right?
And you're on a team with some other groups.
Yeah.
But you don't know who you're with.
Oh, you don't get to choose?
No, you get assigned randomly. It's very fun though.
It is?
Yeah.
Cool. And last question. Is going into professional robotics an option for you?
I want to pursue it in college. I want to do robotics and programming. I like that stuff too.
Programming too? Do you know what colleges have those kind of options?
I like Worcester Polytech. That's a good one.
Nice. All right, well, thank you for the time.
Okay.
Every year we build a robot about 2 feet by 3 feet wide, about 4 feet tall, so pretty big machines, all metal, a lot of electronics, and then we go to competitions. We have a minimum of 2 competitions every year and a different task every year. So in January we get our task for that year, and then we have 6 weeks to design and build a full robot to accomplish that task.
All right, cool. How did you get into robotics?
So actually both of us were taking Mr. Pellegrino's computer programming class, and he pushed us to go and take that step to join. We were both, I think, pretty nervous about, we haven't taken physics before, we don't know that much, what are we gonna add to the team? But we hopped in, and really you don't need any kind of physics or class, like you don't need to have taken any sort of science before you join this team, and we just learned as we went. We learned how to use crazy tools, designing, and we just hands-on experience, without needing all this crazy education behind it. And we definitely both have loved being a part of the team.
Sounds good.
The end of the year is already in sight for the senior class. That means college planning will soon be in full force. Today, we're checking to see just how students will prepare for their future.
So, what are your immediate plans after high school?
Probably go to a 4-year college, either probably at UMass Lowell and hopefully Northeastern University. And, yeah.
So, what are your plans directly after high school?
My plans would be to go to Norwich University for 4 years to get my bachelor's in health sciences, and then after that would be to enlist in the Marines.
Yeah, right now I'm looking at 2 schools, either Eastern Nazarene College or Gorham College. I plan on going for 4 years, and I plan on going into history education.
What are your plans immediately after high school?
My plans after high school are to go to a 4-year college. I'm looking at Plymouth State right now.
Out of those colleges you listed, what made you choose those colleges over other places?
They have very strong engineering programs compared to other colleges. And they're relatively, they have a relatively low admission cost. And yeah, that's pretty much why.
Do you plan on commuting or staying on campus?
Staying on campus. I don't want to have to, commute every single day back and forth between my house and my college.
What made you decide to go to that college over other places?
Ever since I was a freshman, I've loved Norwich University. I've loved everything that it stands for. I've loved the ROTC and the drill life. And so it's been basically my dream to go there ever since, I started high school.
What made you choose that college over other places?
Those 2 colleges in specifically, they're both an hour or less from home, because I want to stay close with home because I really like the New area, and I also like the environment. I visited both campuses, so both of them have really nice atmospheres and really it's like a close-knit group because they're both smaller schools. I don't want to go to a big school where it just feels like you're a number.
What made you decide to go to that college over other places? Yeah.
Mainly it's the location. I really like the area that it's in, and if it's somewhere I'm going to be living for 4 years, I'd rather, pick a school that I feel like I would enjoy living at.
Engineering. I'm not sure if I want, to fully commit to that because I really just want to, pursue any career in the scientific field or engineering specifically. And I don't know what that could be. And biomedical engineering just seemed like a good choice because there's so many areas to choose from, so I'm not locked into one thing.
What do you plan in majoring in at Plymouth State?
Computer science.
What made you take an interest in that?
I don't know, I've always liked computers, so it just kind of felt natural.
And what is one thing you will miss the most from high school?
Probably all the familiar faces. That's pretty much it.
What is one thing you'll miss the most from high school?
I guess not having to wake up at 4 in the morning.
That's a good point. What do you think you'll miss the most from high school?
It's the most, well, first thing that comes to mind would probably be chorus and vocal ensemble, because those were really fun parts of high school and a lot of memories there.
What is one thing you will miss the most from high school?
I think my friends, I guess. I feel like that's,
Yeah.
on my belt. I mean, I've been with these kids since kindergarten, so.
Probably all the familiar faces. That's pretty much it.
And how much do you think you've changed since the start of high school to the end of high school?
Well, I'm definitely more comfortable around people. I'm definitely more talkative. I'm still a little quiet, but I'm not as quiet as I used to be in middle school, say, or even elementary school. And that's probably the biggest change.
That's that. How much do you think you yourself have changed from the start of high school to the end of high school?
I think I've become a more confident person. I found my voice throughout the 4 years of of high school, throughout doing ROTC this year. I think I've just become a better person than what I used to be, and I obviously definitely still have a lot more ways to go, but I think that going forward, it's been a long journey.
How much do you think yourself has changed since the start of high school to the end of high school?
A lot. I think I am more mature. I think I've learned to deal with stress better and stuff like that. Just naturally growing up type of things.
Right. How much do you think you yourself have changed since the start of high school to the end of high school?
Enough. A lot. A lot.
Okay.
I was a floopy goober freshman year. And now I use the word floopy goober.
To quite literally take the energy up a notch, let's talk about energy drinks. For years, the popular caffeinated beverage has taken the world by storm. However, more and more allegations have been made that the effect they have on the youth is anything but beneficial.
Yeah, sometimes when I go to the gym.
Yes. Sometimes. Like once a week.
I drank like 4 that day. They looked at like about like 500 pounds, lightweight. It was 9.
You drink like 10. Like 12. Yeah. Why? You could die.
Lies. Cap.
Why do you say it's cap?
I say it's cap because like, I mean, I don't know, it gives you, I mean, it probably is like a little bit bad for you, but like, if you don't drink at least like 20 in a week, you're good. If you drink like once like every other day, you should be fine.
That's bunk because caffeine's good for you. Not really, as long as you pay attention to what's in them.
I mean, it helps you work out, it gets you like pumped. You know, I feel like I'm on the things when I'm doing it, you know? It's just like...
To give me like a boost throughout the day when I need one. Because they give me caffeine, and caffeine burns more calories, thus making me have a lower body fat percentage.
An exciting segment we have today is a quick table talk about video games. Santi sat down with fellow students to discuss their opinions on the world of video games.
Okay, so this is the very first episode of, I don't know if it's an episode, but we're gonna talk about video games. So, Joshua, as an epic gamer boy, tell me, what is your favorite game?
Probably Modern Warfare and Rocket League.
Rocket League? Which one do you play more?
Probably Rocket League, I guess.
Rocket League. That's been out for a while though. So why do you think?
Well, I played it 3 years ago, and then I kind of stopped after a while.
You coming back to it?
Yeah, and then I got my friends to start playing it too. So.
On PS4?
Yeah.
Tyler, you play on PS4?
I do play on I play on PC a bit too, though.
All right. Yeah. So Modern Warfare and Rocket League. I play Modern Warfare. I don't have a PS4, and I kind of don't really want to play Rocket League. So I play a lot of Modern Warfare. I'm not very good at it though. So, Josh and Tyler, have you played anything that's like you kind of thought was going to be like a big game and you were kind of excited about, but then it kind of turned out like a real piece of trash?
Yeah, I've had a few of them, like Battlefield 5.
Battlefield 5.
I mean, it's a good game, but we only played it for like a month maybe, and then it's kind of stopped.
What kind of is different from Battlefield 5 to Modern Warfare that kind of made you want to play it less?
I think Modern Warfare definitely has more action in it. Like, there's a lot more close quarters fights. Like in Battlefield, it's very spread out and it's more on one-on-one conflicts.
Okay. Is there anything coming up soon that you might want to take a look at? Like, you know, like Doom Eternal's I'm pretty excited for that. I want to play it when it comes out. Anything else that you guys kind of looking forward to that you want to play?
GTA 6.
GTA 6, yeah.
That would be. I'm sure a lot of people have been waiting on that game. It's been like 6-7 years now.
Did you ever play Red Dead 2?
I did for like a few hours because it came with my PS4. So, but not much more than that.
Not the same kind of.
I didn't really like it.
GTA.
No.
What about you, Josh?
GTA
Red Dead
6,
2. Red Dead 2. Did you play it? What were your thoughts?
I haven't played any of those games.
I guess it's like a kind of different feel than GTA where you just run around.
Far Cry 5. Great game.
Great game? I've never played any of the
Far Cry 4 had a lot of glitches, wasn't that great, but Far Cry 5.
I kind of want to play No Man's Sky. Like, I know it didn't come out with the great reviews and it had a rocky start, but it's been years and there's been a lot of updates, and I want to play it because I mean it's got multiplayer, it's got tons of like things you can do, and I don't know. It just seems like a good game that you can really, get into with a couple of people. You can run around in spaceships.
I haven't heard of it, but...
You've never heard of No Man's Sky?
I have not, I swear. Have you heard of it?
Yeah, I have, from Lucas.
Of course.
Okay, from Lucas. So like,
but No Man's Sky was like a giant game that like had so much hype. You never heard No Man's Sky?
It's like Minecraft or something?
Okay, I think you're just doing that on purpose.
No, I'm not. I swear I've never heard of it. I promise you I've never heard of it.
Whatever. I don't know. It's not Minecraft, but you can build, I guess, so...
Yeah.
Whatever. But yeah, it's supposed to be good now. And it has like a VR mode. And I don't know. VR is expensive, but if I ever got VR, I think it'd be a pretty cool experience to play in VR. Have you ever guys done any VR stuff?
He has VR.
You have VR?
Lucas and Josh have all played on VR. Yeah.
Josh, what do you think of VR?
It's a work in progress, I guess. You know,
A work
especially
in
the
progress.
PlayStation VR.
PlayStation VR. What do you compared to like Vive or like Oculus?
It's definitely not as good.
Oculus Rift is so good.
Like, yeah.
Have you tried like the Oculus Quest, where it's like just the headset and you don't need anything else?
No, I haven't tried that.
I've seen it, but
I think that's like that'd be like the next level once it like gets. I don't think it's like as powerful as like the Vive or like, because then you'd have the computer, but like once you have just the headset and that's all you need, like that's pretty crazy. Okay, well, I think that's good. Thank you for coming on my show about video games.
Wait, so you're doing this every week?
No, this is just
it's
a
one time
package.
thing. Oh, I thought you were doing
episode 1 and last episode. That's
Wow.
it. Cut.
Very cool.
Happy New Year! 2020 is already off to a great start. To see how BHS students are planning on making this year better than the last, Lane caught up with some students to see what resolutions they could find effective.
I believe they are, because goal setting is great to make sure that you use your time the best way you can in the new year.
Yes, because it sets the standard for what you want to accomplish for the year.
I personally think they aren't worth making, because if you want to make a change in your life, you shouldn't have to wait till the new year to make one. Yes, and it did not work because I don't know how to go about achieving it.
Yes.
Did it work?
No, but it was good to know what my goals were.
Yes. Did it work out? No. Yes. I would really like to fight someone before I turn 18 so that I can't be charged.
Get more athletic and gain weight.
To maintain and, if not higher, my GPA.
To end today's show, we take it to Lucas to find out what Beverly High's Model UN have in store.
What is Model UN and what do you do in it?
All right, that's a pretty good question. So Model UN is a academic club here at BHS where we discuss many world topics ranging from nuclear proliferation to war in the Middle East. And it's essentially being able to collaborate with others and find sort of, a common ideal or a common purpose behind some of the most pressing conflicts that are sort of ravaging the world today. Generally, it's my favorite club, not only because of the collaboration aspect, but since I am quite the policy wonk. I like to create comprehensive solutions while working with others to do so.
And basically, a simple rundown of what we do is we go to different conferences, like we go to ones at Brown, UConn, MIT, other high school ones, and you get assigned a committee, so say the Security Council, and then usually there's a topic or two, depending on the conference, like nuclear proliferation or some other variety of topic. Depending on your committee, you get assigned a country, and what you do is you research that topic and your country's position on topic so you can prepare to debate with other delegates who attend the conference and try to find the best solution for everyone there.
All right. Now, what made you want to join Model UN?
I'll go first. I just really needed a club freshman year, and I've always been interested in history, and I was kind of like interested in the politics at the time. I was like, hey, it seems interesting, saw a poster, so I was like, I'll join, and I've loved the decision, so it's definitely worthwhile to check out.
Me personally, I didn't really want to join Mall UN the first year because I heard my sister would join.
But she didn't.
She didn't. That was pretty great. So afterwards, I was dragged into the club by Gabby. She kind of forced me to come, and
But it was
I
good.
eventually liked it. Yeah, I liked it. Personally, Mall UN kind of blends my interest in geopolitics, right, geography, and international relations together, and it kind of allows you to understand world events in a different perspective, whether it be through collaboration or just even writing like a position paper and understanding what your country cares about and what people in those countries like what they want to. Actually, you can cut that out. Yeah, I just start rambling. Yep.
All right. Which country do you represent in Mall UN, and what topics do you discuss about them?
Well, like, which country right now? Like, we don't
So
have
many.
We don't, yeah, we've done I've done various I've done Egypt. I've actually represented people. There's like certain special I got the privilege to represent the chief executive of Hong Kong, Carrie Lam, at my last conference, and so it really depends on the conference.
Yeah, it depends on the conference and committee. I've represented a number of countries. I've represented France when it came to nuclear power. That was pretty fun since they generate 75% of their electricity using nuclear reactors. There was Turkey. That was at MIT. We don't talk about that because... we don't talk about Cote d'Ivoire. So that country sucks.
Being the
I'm
U.S.
sorry.
During
no,
that...
can we cut that out?
No. Being the U.S. during the Iran deal, super fun because you get to be super stubborn.
Exactly. Like being the United States is overpowered because everybody wants
Or
to
being
work with you.
Russia or North Korea, because you get to, you obviously don't have a limited range of what you can do, but you can be a little bit more flexible in what you say.
Yeah. So ultimately it depends. I would say my favorite was Belgium, and we were in a committee full of people who wanted war. And since, I assume a lot of people know the history of Belgium, the country has been invaded multiple times. So they weren't really, amenable to war. So it was really fun having to debate with people and having them criticize you all the time, forever. So it was pretty great.
All right. So since you guys model basically the UN, I just want to ask you, what do you think the biggest real-world issues are currently facing the UN, and do you think you're doing a good job at handling them?
That's a loaded question.
Yeah, that's a big question. For me, there are two issues. One is climate change, and I don't think the UN is doing nearly enough, right? I think there was like a presentation that Greta Thunberg did to the UN General Assembly, in which she essentially said, all of you guys are robbing my childhood, which kind of, it just demonstrates the fact that even though like the UN is this like institution that should have a lot of say in what countries do and what the sort of priorities, the world priorities should be, that's not always the case. And the second thing is just like development, specifically economic development in places such as Africa. That's lacking, and you see a lot of actors, whether it be Russia or China or the United States, coming in and kind of filling that role. And
all right, thank you for your time.
That's all the time we have for today.
Be sure to go check out our Twitter down there.
Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.